What's going on YouTube? It's Hookem here and I'm coming to you with 5 tips on how to solo the Dark Zone. Whether you're going in the Dark Zone for the first time, you're a returning player, or maybe you've been in the Dark Zone and you've gotten jumped by a 2-man, 3-man, or a 4-man team. Stick around, watch the whole thing, and by the end of the video, if these tips have helped you, drop it in the comment section. If they didn't help you, then just say, Hook, these tips fucking sucked ass, and fuck it, it is what it is. But enough of that damn intro, let's go ahead and jump right into this thing. The first tip that I want to give you when it comes to soloing the Dark Zone is before you enter the doors of the Dark Zone, you want to go ahead and change your settings. When I mean your settings, go ahead and go to Settings, go to UI, customize the HUD, and you want to use your D-pad and highlight the map. Now when you first go into this little section of your settings, this map is going to be in the top left hand corner. What you want to do is go ahead and highlight it and bring this map right down into the center. Alright? The reason that you want to bring it down to the center is because whenever you are actually in the Dark Zone, whether you're farming, fighting other players, and doing manhunt, doing God's work, you want to go ahead and keep your eyes straight ahead on whatever you're engaging, whether it's a player or an NPC. If there is an NPC or a player coming on you...
What the hell?
That sounded wrong. Fuck it. If there's a player coming up on you, you want to go ahead and keep your eyes fully engaged to the middle of the screen. Now, if this map was in the top left-hand corner, then you would have to take that little bit of seconds. Take your eyes from the center of the screen, divert them to the top left, and that is going to make a difference of someone getting the drop on you or you getting the drop on someone else. But if your map is right in the middle, you can stay engaged, and at the same time just barely give a glance to see where that red marker is showing up. Is it on your left? Is it on your right? Is it on your 6? And that way you can start engaging and determine, should I keep engaging this player or should I pull back, reposition, and try again. By doing that, that'll save you countless time and energy of one, wasting ammo or giving up a good position or getting jumped by multiple players what you're not ready for. Maybe you need to reposition and take them out one by one, but that is what the map is for. Bring that map right to the center of the screen. That way you don't have to take your eyes off from the center, push it up to the top left. Now that is the first tip. Easy tip, you don't got to fight anybody for it. Let's keep going. Alright, when it comes to map knowledge, what I mean is understanding the entrances, exits, and the choke points. Now I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by each of those. So for the first example, if I'm fighting 1 player, 2 player, whatever it may be, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull them down through this alley. And the reason that I'm going to pull them down this alley is because, one, there are so many spots. There are only so many spots that they can actually fall into, alright? And they have to hide behind it, or they can stick all the way back over there and try to attempt to get me down. Now for me, my point of view, I can go and I can engage and go in and out of cover and have more freedom to fight them, where they could only stand behind so many pieces of cover. So from my point of view, I can sit there and I can beam their armor and take it down little by little, while they have to decide, do they want to push, do they want to stand still, what the fuck are they wanting to do. So from my point of view, this is what I have. When it comes from their point of view, if they're coming down this alley, they know between this wall and this garbage can, this is their cover. They know they can go right here, but if they want to go on this piece of cover, unless I'm right in front of them, they have no actual shot of me. Alright? They can go to this piece of cover, but with that being said, they know, unless I'm in this area, their vantage point is kind of shitty. Alright? And between these pieces of cover, they're going to have to understand that I'm going to be able to hit a lot of their armor off, which is going to put them in a situation where they're going to have to decide, should I pull back, should I push forward, should I pop a med kit, what should I do? Because in their eyes, all they know is that I'm on this other side of the wall. And what I'm talking about, bringing them into your playstyle. So for me, As y'all can see on my little map, I have all of these red trophies on here. Okay? So when they pull into my playstyle, let's say it's one person, two people, maybe three, all they see is just this alleyway. Okay? My point of view, I'm already setting them up from all this right here. So if they decide, one person decides to push, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to beam his armor down. I'm going to drop that armor, or I can take them out, or force them to retreat and still keep wasting their medkits. Because whenever I'm beaming someone and they use a medkit, I'm keeping count of how many medkits they're actually using. So I know when they engage me, what they have to left to work with. So the way that I set them up, excuse me, the way that I set them up is once I down that first person, and let's say there's two more people there, they don't see the trophies that I have on the ground. So now this leads to my next point of an exit. I've brought them into the entrance. Let's say there's two more people. I don't want to get overwhelmed because I could run this way, but now they have the straightaway on me and they could beam me from there. I could go three different ways. I could go the straight way and use pieces of cover, but that's not going to benefit me. That's going to benefit them. Or I could go through this area and use the cars as cover and pretty much take all the damage for me. I can go through one of the doorways, or I can set them up for my second part and third part. So when I say set them up for my second part, I have trophies laying right over here. So all that means is when I push back, their natural instinct is to come after me. Now when they come after me, I'm going to use this truck as cover. Now when they decide to come, I'm going to go collect, and I'm going to engage. Because now I have bonus armor and I have bonus damage that I'm going to pretty much unleash onto them. If I down a second person, let's say I can't down both of them. I could down one. I could at least down one. Now I'm going to set them up for the third time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them again into this alley. And there's only so many places because they have this spot right here, which is not going to benefit them. They have these two walls, but this wall's not going to benefit them because they're not going to be able to get a shot off me. This wall might be the better one, and this couch might be the next best. But for them, what I'll do is I'll engage the player. I will let them take a little bit of my armor off, and I will take cover and let them think that I am out of medkits. When they decide to push, I have now set them up for the third part of it. So when they decide to push and I'm low on medkits, I'm just going to come over here, collect. Now my armor's full and I'm going to re-engage them. They're going to have to eat through my bonus armor, my added weapon damage, my damage that's based off my TKB, and hope that whatever medkits they use prior to come into this area to engage me is going to sustain them for the rest of the fight. Most likely, it's not. And I've got videos of where they just can't handle that amount of damage with the amount of bonus armor that they have to eat through. So that is an example of entrances, exits, and how to pretty much set a player up. So let's go ahead and let's talk about choke points. A choke point is anything that you can funnel someone into. Another choke point would be kind of like this little part right here. If you pull someone in through here, the only way that they're going to escape this is either one, by taking cover here, or using the cover down here. But if they're chasing you, they've already given up a lot of that cover. So they're going to have some options that they're going to have to decide on very quickly. They can, one, take cover here, pop a med kit, do what they need to do. Or they can engage you, which leaves them no cover. Or the third option, which is not going to benefit them at all, is using that animation to try to come and jump over one of these walls. That can be used as a choke point for your benefit. So if they're right here, you have one piece of cover, two pieces of cover, or three pieces of cover. And you can engage them where they only have one piece of cover, or they can use the animation, which in part you can use that little seconds that it takes for the animation to take place to take them down. So the second tip, understanding the map knowledge. Alright, here we are at the third tip. And this one is probably the most important, if not, I say a good top one or two tips that you take from this. And that one is understanding your build. I'll say that again, understanding your build. What I mean by your build is the build that you set up personally. I'm not talking about a build that you might have saw on YouTube, a build that you might have gotten from your friend, because everyone knows, including this fucking channel, I got a build video on what I run. And as many of y'all already see, this is what I run. This is my build. I made this build based on how I play. Every piece that I put in here, in every slot, the weapons that I use, the talents that I put on them, the skills that I use, and the specialization, all this comes down to how I play, my playstyle. My playstyle is not going to be your playstyle. How I run this build may not be how you might want to run the build. So you want to go ahead and you want to understand your build. Now, if you've seen the build video I did on here, and obviously this is the fucking build, but if you run this build, and I've said it in my build video, don't think that by putting it on exactly how I have means that you're going to go into the dark zone, you're going to start fucking manhunting double digits, because you might not. And I said that you won't be able to do that. But what you can do is take this build and use it as a template. Switch around the pieces, move pieces around, excuse me, and design it to how you play. Alright? Now, the best way, and I stand by this 100%, and a lot of people that play with me know why I stand by this, is come in the dark zone solo. Okay? Venture into this fucked up world of toxicity solo. And the reason that you want to do it solo is because when you're solo in the dark zone, you are going to see exactly what your build is capable of and what it's not capable of. You're going to see your build's strengths and you're going to see your build's weaknesses. Not every build is going to be top of the line fucking king shit. Alright? You're not going to roll in here with a build that is more superior than another build. There's always going to be something that's going to counter yours. But coming in here solo is going to allow you to see those little chinks in the armor where you can kind of either correct it or make it better. Now, many of y'all seen that my build that I use, I've made it that certain way because I know where the survivability is at, I know where my damage is at, and I've tweaked it to my playstyle. If you come into the dark zone always with the group, always teamed up with someone, so on and so forth, then you're not going to actually see what your build can do. You're going to see what your build can do with someone else there, because you're now syncing up with their coyotes, you're now benefiting from their heals, you're now benefiting from something else. Alright, so your build might be hitting strong, but maybe it's only hitting strong because you're synced up with whoever you're with at that moment. You're not really seeing what your build can do when it's by itself. So understanding your build has a huge part in soloing the dark zone. Because soloing and fighting in a group, those are two different fucking beasts. Now, a lot of y'all that watch my channel know that I'm a strict solo person. I like playing solo, it's more challenging, whatever. Soloing the dark zone is like riding your bike without fucking training wheels on. Going in the dark zone with the group is you still got your basket on the front of your bike and you got your training wheels still on. There's no fucking problem with that. We all start off that way. But you want to go ahead and better yourself. You want to get to the point where you're like, hey dad, I can ride my bike with training wheels to the watch me jump this fucking ramp. Alright? That's the difference. And coming in the dark zone solo with the build that you made and testing it, that is the only way to do it. Are you gonna die a fuck ton? Yes, you are. Are you gonna lose gear? Yes, you are. Why you should be farming gear while doing this? Fuck if I know. But if you lose gear, then that's on you. Are you gonna come across some toxicity? Fuck yeah, you are. It's the dark zone. Anyone that steps through these doors knows what you're walking into. Just turn your VoIP off. Turn it off, you don't have to hear the bullshit. Come in here, test your build, fight against people. Even if you're going to lose, just test it. That's all you're doing. You're in the testing process. You're not going out there trying to fucking John Rambo this shit. You're just testing. You're understanding your build. You're trying to figure out, where is my build strong? Where is my build weak? Where can I correct it? That is the whole purpose of coming in here solo. So to end it, third tip, understanding your build. Right. So you've changed your settings. You got your map knowledge. You understand your build, what its strengths are, weaknesses. Now it's time to use all those tips and apply it into the fourth one, which is understanding who you are actually fighting. When I'm talking about understanding who you are fighting, I'm talking about understanding what type of builds they're running, what type of player they are, which I have basically grouped them into three types. And these are the three types that you're going to see inside the dark zone, which is the aggressive, the passive, and the tactical / strategic type of players. Your passive player, he's going to have less armor, but he's going to have a fuck ton more damage. Examples of those, your glass cannon, spotter bubbas. Your aggressive type, these dudes are going to be running 1.92 mil fucking armor, and their damage is going to be, it's not going to be as high as glass cannon, but on some builds you can see it that way. Examples of these are your Catharsis Metabot builds, currently your fucking shotgun builds that run, again, Catharsis with it, and Adrenaline Rush, and then you have your tactical / strategic dudes. These guys are going to be a little bit of both. They're going to be passive and aggressive. These are the guys that have been comfortable coming in the dark zone. They know what their build does. They know what they are capable of a player. And they're going to use it to their advantage, tactically and strategically. Alright, so you want to be familiar of what type of player you're dealing with. Now, I'll give an example of passive. I'll give a tactical of aggressive, example of aggressive, and then tactical. So we'll start off with your passive player. If I'm down there fighting, right? A passive player, he's going to rely mainly on his damage and cover. He's not going to be John Rambo and rush you out in the open like this. He's going to stand back and he's going to beam you from a distance and use cover to his advantage. An aggressive player, you're going to see one move that an aggressive player does, and they all do it. They can't help it. It just comes to them. Is they'll be in cover. They'll see you down there, and what they're going to do is they're going to come out of cover, and they're going to do this fucking having a seizure type of thing. Alright? So they're going to be moving all the way the fuck down here. Alright? So they're going to have a seizure from that point all the way over here. And the reason that they're having a seizure is because they are running Adrenaline Rush. For those who do not understand, Adrenaline Rush is going to give you bonus armor anytime that you come close to a player. You don't have to kill them. You don't have to damage them. You don't have to let a strong wind brush across their face. Just breathe in their vicinity, and you get bonus armor. Yeah, I know. Cheesy as shit, doesn't take a lot of skill. It is what it is. So that's what you're going to see. You're going to see that dude having a seizure from there all the way over here, and he's doing that because he wants that extra bonus armor, so when he gets close to you, and if there's any NPCs in the area, he's going to benefit off that, which is going to give him even more bonus armor. So you've seen your passive. I gave an example. Dude's hiding down there. He's relying on damage and cover. You've seen your aggressive. He has a seizure. Gets right here. Now your tactical Bubba. This guy, he can run either or. Your tactical Bubba can run either less armor, more damage, less damage, it doesn't matter, because they have become used to their build and their playstyle. So what they're going to be doing is, let's say, Hookem is hiding right over there. He's not pushing. I'm not pushing. He's comfortable in his spot. I'm comfortable in my spot. So what I'm going to do as a tactical player is I'll go lob a med kit, and it's going to explode right there. Most players, what they're going to do is they're going to jump out of cover, and that's going to expose them. Exposing them like that is going to allow me to take them out of their safe zone and bring them out in the open so I can gauge them. Now when I do that, here's the tactical part. I've already started it by tossing a grenade. I toss that grenade, I throw it, they jump out of cover, I'm shooting them. Alright, I'm engaging them, I'm going to use their now cover for my cover, and they're going to have to fall back. I'm going to be using everything that I can to my advantage to put them at a disadvantage. So now that we've gone over the differences of passive players, aggressive players, and tactical players, now let's go into certain things that players do that they can't help. Now, a lot of my buddies that I play with, I've explained this to them, and it works like fucking clockwork. Alright? The first thing, I've had, I think someone asking me, I want to say it's a new player because they haven't heard that term before, it's kit pushing.
Hilo is returning to
Alright.
base.
When someone has the firewall specialization right here, it's going to allow them to get a little bit of bonus armor whenever they kit. So whenever they go to engage someone, their armor is going to drop, but it's also going to come right back up. Alright? So what I do is, anytime I'm engaging a player, let's say I'm hiding behind this cover, and I'm taking them down. Their armor is low. Basic psychology is going to kick in. Their armor is low. They don't want to die. So basic psychology says survive. Alright? So what they're going to do is they're going to take cover behind this wall and they're going to kit push. Most people, once they kit, they're going to come up and they're going to push you. Hence the name kit pushing. So whenever I take their armor and they go take cover, as soon as I see them taking cover, I'm pulling back. I'm going all the way back over here. Because I know that when they pop that kit, it's going to take 10 seconds for that bonus armor to go away. So when that bonus armor goes away, when I start shooting at them and depleting that armor that they now have, it's not coming back up after that. They're going to have to kit up again. And they'll do the same thing over and over again. Motherfucker, you better not flag on me, I will kill you. Alright, so that is kit pushing. Alright? The next thing is understanding what a 4-man group does. And I've also broken the 4-man group down in for you, so you can understand it as well. Your 4-man group is going to consist of these type of players. 1, the group reliant. 2, the casual. 3, the bitch. And 4, the most dangerous person of the group, the soloist. Now, each member of this 4-man group, there are certain things about them. A lot of people fear a 4-man group because they see it as a numbers game. And 4-man groups, they fail because they think of it as a numbers game. You as a solo player, and what is the most challenging part about being a solo player, is understanding the 4-man group and how to take them apart. So for example, I told you the 4-man group contains 4 type of players, excuse me, and I've already explained them. The group reliant. This dude is what you mainly see in every one of these groups inside the Dark Zone. Alright? They don't come in the Dark Zone unless they are with a fucking group. They are scared to death of coming in this Dark Zone alone. I'm not going to call any content creators because it's not what I do, but I'm just going to say a lot of these skilled PvPers, quote unquote, for some odd reason you never see them solo. Weird, huh? A lot of people will be in the Dark Zone with the group because they are group reliant. They need that extra damage. They need that extra health. They need that extra firepower. They need. Because they can't do it alone. The next one, you're casual. This is your dude that has a full-time job. Or girl that has a full-time job. They got work. They got bills. They got fucking munchkins jumping on the couch, fucking shit up. They come on this game whenever their buddies are on to just play with them. Take some stress off the day of dealing with stupidity all fucking day. They come on here, they hop on, they play for an hour, and they bounce. The Division's not their bread and butter. They're not out here with like millions of subscribers and shit like that. So they got a life, basically. So they're just jumping in the group just to help out, lend a helping hand. The third member, the bitch of the group. This one has no fucking clue what they're doing. Their build is mediocre at best. If not, it copies someone that they saw on YouTube and they're like, well, this person on YouTube did this kind of damage. Well, that means I'm going to do this kind of damage. And then they get fucked up because they don't understand why they're not doing it. That's the person I take out first. And it's usually someone that has the lowest armor. The lowest armor person is the person that I call the bitch in the group. Because I know that's the easiest kill. And that's the easiest way for me to take out an extra gun in a 4-man team. And then finally, the soloist. The soloist, and I say, is the most dangerous one, because even though he's in a 4-man group or she's in a 4-man group, if all 3 members die, they're used to fighting multiple players at once. They understand their build. They understand their playstyle. They understand the map. They understand other players. So when they're brought alone, left to fend for themselves while their group members are coming back out of the checkpoint, it's just another day in the Dark Zone for them. It's business as usual, which makes them the most dangerous because they know how to capitalize on your strengths. They know how to take advantage of your weaknesses, and they will do that. So with that being said, that is your 4th tip of understanding who you are fighting. Once you understand who you are fighting, the rest falls into play. And I know I said 5 tips, and here's the 5th tip. And this tip is going to be the one that most people have a hard time doing. Alright, y'all ready for it? This tip is practicing. Yeah, nothing fucking crazy. Practicing. Practice going into the Dark Zone. Practice your movement. Practice your strafing. Practice your aiming. Practice fighting 2, 3, 4-man teams. I say this is the hardest tip because a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure some that have been watching this, or are watching this, have come in the Dark Zone, they got their ass beat, they got their loot stolen, they got it deconstructed, and they're like, fuck this place. This place is toxic, I got called this name, someone said my kid was this, and they say, fuck this, I'm out. And they don't come back. So instead, turn that VoIP off. You don't need to hear the bullshit. Come back out here. Keep on practicing over and over and over again. Get better at your aiming, get better at your movement, get better at pulling people in, get better at taking advantage of their strengths and turning them into weaknesses. as old school as that sounds, practice is the number one thing. Anyone that you see on this game that is doing some crazy ass damage and movement and killing people and doing type of shit, they just practice a lot. And the one thing you don't want to do is go out and buy third-party devices. I don't use third-party devices. I look down on any player that uses third-party devices. I call it small dick energy devices, because that's exactly what it is. If you got to go out and you got to buy Cronus scripts, fucking whatever else they got on the market to get better at a video game, when all it takes is just coming down here and practicing, you got 110% small dick energy, micro penis fucking type. And it is what it is. I don't mind calling people out on their bullshit, because if it's true, it's true. All it takes is a little bit of practice. Get your ass kicked, go back out. Get your ass kicked, go back out. Do that over and over and over again. Turn your VoIP off, you don't gotta hear the bullshit. And do what you gotta do. So to end the video, those are the 4 tips. Do your settings. Map knowledge. Understanding your build. Understanding who you are fighting. Take all of that and practice. So other than that, that's all I got for y'all. Hook them out. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, fucking dislike it. If you haven't subscribed, do that shit. Hook them out.